is episode 2 of the year 2021. 2021, where we're going to drink beer.
We are.
There you go. That's the whole show right there. So I certainly hope you've sat down, you're buckled in, you've cracked open a beer, and you're going to tell us what you're having. But today, we're going to start with Dave. Dave, hang on, let me look down.
Yeah.
Dave, what are you having, man? What are you having?
We're saving the best stuff for first. Whoop.
Teas. What tea is it today?
I saved the bag this time.
Our finest. What is it?
Shane's always giving me shit for not knowing what the hell.
I don't know. It's licorice. I don't know.
So
It's like mint.
our finest crap from Walmart.
Finest crap from Walmart. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the crappity crap line, right?
Finest shit. Yeah.
Walmart.
Direct from Satan's ass. What?
Tea from Satan's ass?
The last time I walked into a Walmart, close to the checkout aisle, they had one of those display sort of piles, they arrange them in, like display stuff that you want to buy.
Yeah.
Of collectible tinned popcorn.
Really?
Alan, you're making popcorn right now. Would you ever rather have fresh popcorn or tinned popcorn? And
definitely fresh.
Under what conditions would you buy tinned popcorn, even if it were collectible, and why would you collect it?
Well, I don't know why you would collect it. Maybe you'd want to collect the tins for some weird reason. But for popcorn, if I'm buying bought popcorn, it's the candied kind, with the caramel on it and everything, like Cracker Jacks kind of deal.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Cracker Jacks.
For genuine 1970s Cracker Jacks, what does that go for on eBay right now?
Like we're talking about Cracker Jacks made in the 70s.
I mean old school. Well, maybe 1980s, but old school, like vintage Cracker Jacks, still in the packet, not opened.
I have no idea. Probably not a lot.
I have a feeling Shane's looking it up right now.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm on eBay.
Would it be any different from?
Would
it be any different from the Cracker Jacks that they make now?
Do they still make Cracker Jacks?
I would think so, wouldn't they?
I
haven't had it in years, but
there's all the vintage toys and stuff like that. So there's that. There's also gumball charms, sealed endangered Canadian animals. I have to say, I don't recall the last time panda bears were endangered in our country, but okay.
Damn straight they're endangered. We're out of them. We're all.
But I remember it
right there, boys and girls.
I remember those lenticular things. I remember getting those.
There you go. There's an endangered Canadian animal. So I'm assuming they mean that they were sold maybe exclusively in Canada. Here you go. 4 vintage Cracker Jack boxes unopened.
Yeah, that's the ticket.
There you go. So it looks like you can get them for $8 or roughly $10 Canadian.
So the markup is not that impressive yet.
No.
But shipping, however, is $20 or $25.60. So.
But those ones look older. Those are like pre-1970s.
Let's see. Is there any description? Usually there's a description of some sort. Here we go. Unopened Cracker Jacks are solid. The Cracker Jacks are solid. Yeah, and a big brick. No shaking. This came out in the 80s to celebrate 100 years of Cracker Jacks. All 4 are sold for $1 money. Condition is new. One money. There you go, just money. Shipped USPS first class mail, $5. That's quite the exchange rate right there. Item location: Zebulon, North Carolina.
Zebulon.
Okay, I'm looking this up on Google Maps. I need to know where Zebulon is. There we go.
That's where the Coneheads live.
There's Zebulon. Zoom out here. Just near Raleigh, North Carolina. There you go. Oh, Zebulon. Who knew there was a place?
Zebulon, North Carolina.
Called Zebulon. Yeah, you're right. The Coneheads live there. So there you go. It is a thing. You can get them. I mean, there's Cracker Jack tins, stuff like that.
Are they collectible?
I know the toys are. I guess the tins must be if they're
Must be.
tin. Like more toys. A good
I
luck
guess
charm.
my speculation is because there were toys in them, what would make the unopened boxes most collectible is it would be Schrodinger's Cracker Jack.
Pretty much. I mean, it's Schrodinger's Cracker Jack.
How do you know? It's in the Cracker Jack box until you open it, right?
Yeah,
Maybe
no,
there's
I
nothing in it. Yeah.
So, since this show is supposed to be about beer, Alan, what are you drinking?
Okay, I'm drinking the same thing
wait.
as you.
Oh, look at that. We got the same beer. It is called Puggles and Warlocks, The Dark Cow.
I see. It's like you conspired to make it happen.
It's
Almost.
hazelnut Bulgarian Belgian stout. Bulgarian.
Sorry,
And I'm going to test out my Christmas hat. Here we go. Let's see if I can actually do this. Put up my beer drinking toque here. Oh, geez.
That has a bottle opener on it.
That has
It
a bottle
does.
opener built into the toque. Oh, it actually works. There's no real leverage on it.
Well done.
Oh my god!
Oh, come on, use your teeth. Use your teeth like
Use
a
your
real
teeth.
man.
Yeah, that'll go over well. Okay, so that actually well done, hat. Make sure there we go. Yeah, they're good.
Oh
I'm now
my!
pouring this
Oh my
beer.
goodness.
I want to dying to see what it smells. See what it smells like. I guess I have COVID. There we go.
I see what it smells like.
Yeah.
It smells like the Earthlings being subjected to my will. That was my imitation of Dave taking over the universe.
So I mean, it smells really
Hi,
good,
Peanut Gallery.
but it doesn't smell nearly as good as it tastes.
Oh, whoa.
Holy shazbutt.
So
what-
we're
what is-
happy with this beer, are we?
So far, yes, the Dark Cow
Smells
chocolate hazelnut Belgian stout, a decadent creamy chocolate hazelnut Belgian stout, slightly sweetened with lactose for a smooth, exquisite delight. Indulge yourself to the alluring forces of the dark side of the cow. And
That's
really like the label there. So it's got a cow dressed like Darth Vader and has a
lightsaber.
signature red lightsaber.
Sorry, what's the cow reference about? Explain.
Well, I think because it's
Is there lactose or milk?
yeah, there is.
Ingredient? Tell me what the ingredients are.
Lactose, yes. They added some lactose for a smooth
Yes.
finish, which I agree is a smooth finish. I gotta say, I am impressed. I mean, it is Fuggles and Warlocks, so we are
This is
familiar
really
with their
good.
product, and this is it's the smoothness that really makes it. I think at the very end there, it's kind of like if you were to make love to a Guinness, but you were only making love on like one of those really smooth velvet blankets, that are really that you kind of want to
smeared with
rub
Nutella.
on them and roll around on them a bit. That's what I'm talking about.
Just to give you an idea, I mean, we're getting this out of a
Alan will
bottle.
be doing a demo of the velvet lovemaking.
No, but the head is kind of similar to what you get out of a nitro pour.
Oh yeah.
Similar to that, not quite to that level, but similar. And we're getting this out of a bottle. There's no nitro in this at all. So
No, it's impressive.
yeah, I mean that's kind of impressive.
That's an impressive feature, actually. Yeah, tricking your way into something like a nitro pour for something in a bottle that's some magic that I'd like to know more about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so would I. I mean, I am impressed. So, Locke, what are you drinking? You're drinking something from Flying Monkeys, which you've been having quite a bit of lately. Tell me more
Not
about
what I ordered, but so on
Oh, you ordered?
lockdown
Again?
Lockdown again. So I'm back on the dial-a-bottle, and sometimes I order things and they show up, and sometimes I order things and something else shows up, and sometimes
Nothing shows up.
bad thing. You know what? I think I made some kind of mention of adventures in time surfing over the summer, but I think it was brief and very cursory. And I think probably the only reason I mentioned it was because Bill and Ted's the new one was about to come out.
Right.
Yeah.
Adventures in time surfing. How Bill and Ted's is that?
I gotta say,
Basically.
it works.
Strong beer. It rolls in at 8.2 alcohol per volume. What it says on the tin: space for all. Orange you glad, there's mango. Blood orange and mango materialize in ubiquitous circuits of craft. Shimmering hoppy haze oscillates with an acerbic tang, finishing plucky notes of citrus candy. Does it live up to that? Well, yeah, actually, that's not a bad description. I mean, it's a little bit ridiculous, but then again, so is this beer. It's overly sweet would be my one sort of relevant complaint. I have to say the rest of the label is mostly ineligible because of the psychedelic nature of the printing style, and I don't think there's actually an ingredients list on here.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Oh.
But for someone that shows up on your doorstep, unexpected, how time surfing is that?
I would say it's great time surfing.
Good time surfing, I think. Like, good time surfing. You see, it's not just time surfing, it's the good time surfing that you need.
Dynamite!
Bad time surfing is a very 2020 kind of phenomenon. I think we need to all get over that a little bit. It's 2021. Time for some good time surfing. We're going to good time surf our way through 2021. Good time surfing.
I'm fully on board. I'm fully on board. There's absolutely no question here. I want to know more.
It is hazy. It is fruity. As I said, a little too sweet for.
It's the mango.
A medieval hangover in the morning, but all in all, this is good beer.
So we have a couple stories we should talk about today. The first one being I totally blanked. Take over the show, boys. I'm done.
Okay,
My career's over.
Okay, so I have one thing that I want to mention, and I don't really know what to say about it because I have no experience with it. But are you guys familiar with Canoe Brew Pub here in Victoria?
Yeah, totally.
That's the story I was thinking of.
Yep. Yeah, totally no.
Yeah. So apparently they have been taken over by Craft Beer Market.
Same as in Vancouver?
Yep.
Same as in Vancouver. And apparently there's 7 of them across the country.
I think Craft Beer Market at one point took over what was formerly the Amsterdam Brewery in Toronto. I'm not sure if they're still open, but then again, nothing's open because it's COVID. Yeah. So I don't know.
There's 7 locations. Vancouver at False Creek, one in Kelowna, Calgary downtown, Calgary South Centre, downtown Edmonton, Toronto, Adelaide, and Ottawa Lansdowne Park. So there you go.
So I have no experience with Craft Beer Market myself. I've been to Canoe a few times, of course. Really great establishment. I really like it there. But I was talking to somebody who has some inside knowledge, and they were saying that recently the head chef, the manager, the head of the wait staff, and everything, they were all let go, and that kind of was because of all this stuff that's happening. So it's still going to be called Canoe Craft Canoe Club. But Craft Beer Market is going to be taking it over, and they'll be instituting changes over the next little while. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with it. Now, craft beer market, Shane, have you been there? Like, I seem to remember you have.
I might have stumbled in there a few times here and there.
The last time I was there with you would have been following one of Allison's theater premieres.
Yes, when we did Silence the Musical. So
Yeah.
that was 2019.
I seem to recall they had some pretty tasty lettuce wraps.
Yes, they did. I've actually been there since. It's actually it's a decent place. It gets pricey. It definitely has been pricey in the past.
It does do that a bit.
But overall, I mean, when you have 150 beers that in theory are on tap, you do get a selection. So if you're an incredible connoisseur, no price is going to dissuade you from diving into that.
If you want a really really great menu where you can just select whatever you like, it is exactly that place. Evidently, this hasn't kicked in yet. Otherwise, I'd be swearing by now. But yeah, no. Like for the range of selection and being a pleasant atmosphere. Like it's an old warehouse that they've converted, which I like that kind of thing myself. I'm up for that. I've seen Spinnaker's product on tap there. I've seen product as far afield as Calgary, Toronto, Montreal. Yeah. I mean, they've got a fairly exhaustive list and a good one, and one that's not just reliant on the the sort of the stuff that the industry reps are going to push. They've got a thoughtful selection.
Okay. So, I mean, it's going to be kind of nice to have something like that here. I mean, I like Canoe Club, but it'd be kind of great to have something that's going to offer that kind of breadth of selection, because to this point, the best selections that we've got, I would say, are at the Drake, which offers like maybe something like 20 different beers at a time, and the Garrick's Head Pub, which offers something like 30 to 40.
Yeah. I somehow, when it comes to Victoria, I mean, Canoe Club were a little too posh to be, really just generically popular. You know what I mean? Like everything about it was just a little bit frou-frou. It was a little bit touristy, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was Victorians. They like a place with atmosphere. They like a place with character. They don't necessarily need it to be posh, and it was a little more posh than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Would be my humble, and
you're right. You're right.
Make a criticism of this craft operation that Vancouver, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They have the same thing going on, which is to say that there's something a little snotty about it, which does put me off a little.
Cool. Okay. So when COVID is all over, and Shane, you're on the island, I would say that we need to go with Dave to that
Canoe?
place,
or whatever
to
it's called, or what it will be
whatever
called.
it's going to be called. But it's still going to be called Canoe.
I've actually been there a couple times.
Crafty Vancouver is one thing, which is to say that it's downtown and it's in the sort of the Olympic Village sort of square, and the location is good, but you can't quite see the water from there. Canoe Club, you can see the water from there.
It's true.
Yeah. It's called Canoe Club for a reason.
But the last time I was there was probably about 3 years ago. I went with Terry. We were wandering around downtown and bouncing from place to place, and we ended up there at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But and actually, Alan, you weren't even in town. I remember something about you not being in town when I was there. Were you camping at some point 3 years ago? It was probably in the summertime. Could have been. And Dave still lived in
Timbuktu.
yeah, may as well have been. So overall, last week we recorded on a day like today, where I don't know, the capital of the United States was stormed. It's been a week now, and all of the yahoos, but a bunch of the yahoos that were there and very happily sharing their photographs of their crimes on social media have been arrested. The cell phone providers in the area, because one of the things that I guess the rioters didn't take into account was that the cell phone system in the Capitol, because of the age of the building, requires extra cell phone repeaters inside the building, so that the cell phone service is available into the depths of the building. And of course, they know exactly who was there. They know exactly who you were. And
that's because of the age of the building, you think?
well, it would be like if you were the subway, the subway, and
if you wanted to track
line.
people, and you were somehow blind to the idea that if people turn their location data off, that
it doesn't matter.
Still bounce off of cell towers, and you wanted to locate people, and you thought that maybe the Capitol building was a relevant place for people to be tracked. I wonder if you. I'm just saying.
Well, it was interesting to me that the cell phone providers, were just kind of matter of factly about it. If the law comes to ask if your phone was in the building,
they were. Hey, freedom of speech runs two ways, which is to say that you can say whatever the fuck you want, but we can listen to you whenever the fuck we want. Yeah? You get it?
It's like them complaining about Twitter banishing all kinds of people for saying some horrible things and screaming about free speech, when I think the most cutting comment I read online in the last few days was when somebody said, this is a violation of the First Amendment. Twitter should not be able to do these kinds of things.
How is it a violation?
Here's just wait.
It's not a fucking public company.
Yes, the First Amendment only applies to the government silencing you. But the thing is a lot of these people ranting about Twitter doing this, are
ill-informed.
The people were going back in their thread of tweets and whatnot over the years, and how people were also, the same people shouting these things were also shouting about how capitalism works and private companies should do whatever the hell they want, and shouldn't be regulated, blah, 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 blah. So the fact that you have people going freedom of speech in a false way, but freedom of speech, yet private companies cutting them off because, they're private companies that shouldn't be regulated by the government. I just thought it was funny that they're
the compelled speech issue, because that's really what we're talking about here. We're saying that you as a private company have to say what I just said because I told you to say it and I paid you money.
Yeah.
So the compelled speech argument was in the United States in a series of cases about cakes. And this is why the United States is fucked, is because it's devolved to this.
So did you say kinks or cakes?
Cakes.
Okay.
Can I compel you to make me a cake that says whatever I say I want you to say on the cake? Right? What it was a gay couple wanted a fucking.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, and it was sort of like, well, I don't believe in gay marriage, so I'm not going to make the cake. And they said, no, you have to make our cake. You have to make our cake because you're discriminating against. What? Okay, all right. So someone decided that maybe you could compel somebody to bake you a cake. But there was a follow-up case where somebody decided they went into a cake shop and said, I want you to make a cake that says, I hate homosexuals, or something to that effect, right? And they weren't allowed to force the person to make that cake. And at the end of the day, I guess I'm just trying to bring this back to earth. anybody out there that compels somebody else to bake them a cake, I would be really cautious about eating that cake. Wouldn't you?
That is an argument.
That's
I can get
that's a
behind.
good
Like, yeah,
argument.
'cause if you force somebody to do something,
Why are you trying to make people make a cake? Like, so Twitter. Yeah, can I demand that you project my fucking irrational bullshit across the air to incite violence at a political level when everybody can see that this is what's happening?
So here's hang on.
Yeah, fuck off. That's not my job.
So we have a comment in the chat who
The
would like to comment.
Tonster.
And this is his recommendation. If you compel someone to eat a cake or make a cake for you, that's apparently what Todd would do.
But if you want to bake a cake.
So that's why if I'm at a restaurant and I order something and there's something about it I don't like, I never send it back. Because I know what I'm getting back, it's probably got a loogie or worse in it.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's like you don't piss. What is the adage? You don't piss off the chef or the wait staff or the.
Don't piss in somebody else's pool.
Yeah, well, that too.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, it's. I agree. I mean, I feel for the people that were denied having that person make them a cake, but my solution would have been like, okay, sure, let's go get a cake made somewhere else that will support the fact that we're having a gay wedding. I don't know. It's a very, very strange balance between what people think their rights are and what they actually are, and compelling a private company to do something simply because you want them to do it because you feel that you've been wronged is not necessarily a right.
Do you not notice that everybody nowadays feels that they've been wronged? Is that not the new ubiquity? Everybody's some kind of fucking victim. It's like a competition of victims, isn't it? Like the alt-right think they're victims. The alt-left think they're victims. Are they victims of each other? Maybe. I don't know. Is that just how it works now? Do I need to find there's something?
Well, Locke, I'm pissed at you right now because you can't give me a beer through the internet. So the ISPs are going to pay. They're going to pay for a lack of technology where we can transfer beer through the internet.
How dare you suggest that I'm impotent to pass beer through the internet? Fuck you, asshole. I'm going to get those fucking ISPs.
And a new technology was born. The Crafty Boys made billions.
Wouldn't that be awesome though if we had like beer replicators?
Oh man, actually I was lamenting that just yesterday, or maybe it was even today, where I feel that I was promised replicators.
Beer, fat tug, cold.
Yeah, exactly. Ice cold. And I don't want no pint. I want it in a gallon jug. I want 2 gallons.
Did anybody else back in the old days ever pull the move of going into a bar, ordering a pitcher, and just drinking straight out of the pitcher?
No.
I don't think
no, I've never done that. Although
ridiculous thing to do, I agree, but hilarious, and the chicks appreciate it for sure.
Although Boston Pizza used to sell these things called schooners.
Oh right! Oh my god, I forgot about the schooner. That's right. We would buy schooners all the time.
Yeah. So schooners was basically like not quite a pitcher, but it was basically a pitcher of beer that was in a mug shape. It didn't have a spout on it, and it was meant for one person.
36 ounces or something. Like it was a lot.
Oh,
yeah.
Like it wrecked me when I had one.
And in terms of larger glass sizes, the German boot.
Mm-hmm.
How big is how much can you fit in a boot?
Well, it was a lot. It was more than a pint. I would say at least.
It's a boot, 30 ounces probably.
2 pints at a minimum. But the
That's what.
Oh yeah, here we go. This
problem
is
with the boot,
this is
the problem
here
with
we
the
go.
boot is that it's boot shaped, and so if you're laying down a boot and you do it the wrong way, you need to do it toe down, because if you do it toe up, it splashes in your face. Did you know that?
Which reminds
I
me,
didn't.
speaking of beer spilling, I don't know why this made me think of it. How much is in a yardstick?
I would say a yard long.
No, but like there's an actual a yard glass.
Yeah, there is.
A yard glass.
Look it up. Look it up.
I'm looking it up here.
Google's your friend.
A yard of ale or yard glass is a very tall beer glass used for drinking around 2.5 imperial pints of beer, so 1.4 liters, depending on the diameter. Because
That's not a lot.
It's not huge. It's not as big as I thought. Actually,
Well, I mean, it's a lot.
That's a
but
puny beer. A liter and a half. What the hell?
I was thinking it would be bigger, actually, but
I was thinking it was like three liters, but I don't know. I haven't seen they're really long though, so maybe it's deceptive that
I
it was
think
long, not so.
I think Shane, we need to start a campaign to bring schooners back.
Were schooners gone from Boston Pizza?
Yes, they were gone because the BC government, under the BC Liberals, I think it was, decided that was too much beer to have in a single serving. So they changed the law so Boston Pizza couldn't offer the schooner anymore. Or anybody could offer a schooner.
Provincial party politics, in case anybody is from any jurisdiction besides British Columbia right now, which I doubt, but in case you are, just so you know, British Columbian political parties don't track with anything else in the rest of the universe. They might call themselves liberals, they might call themselves social credit, they might call themselves, New Democrats, but at the end of the day, they're all crazy. Is the only through line that I can figure with BC politics.
Okay, so Todd in the chat says, but you could order 2 single pints at a time. I don't know if that's true, actually. Can you?
So think about the border between what is that peninsula out at the end of Tawasin, which is American. What is it called?
Point.
Oh, Robert's Point.
Robert's Point. Yeah. So the salinity of alcohol laws has gone back and forth over the years on the basis of American laws making it illegal for people over 18 to buy beer. So all of a sudden there's this age thing going on, and then the stupid laws that were at least in practice back in the 1990s, when bars couldn't be open on Sunday after 12:30 in BC. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. And so there's been this weird back and forth across the line between Point Roberts and Tawasin in terms of bar culture, in terms of figuring out how to maximize your opportunity to get a beer if you feel like it.
And Dave, I can tell you're absolutely enraged about this whole reality. What are your thoughts on the beer culture? You're steaming, I can tell.
You can't see the steam because I got the cans on, right? So they're keeping the steam in. So you can't see the steam, but I'm just like fucking absolutely.
Like all of us.
There was a time once, I remember, if you were out in the public space of the commons and you went roar, you could get yourself arrested.
That's why the cans. Because I don't want to get my ass arrested.
You wear those in public so the people just are like, just leave them alone, man.
Hey, you've seen that, right? I bet each of you have seen that at times in the city, on the trains.
You just have to wear those things. Wear a reflective vest.
I met a Buddhist monk who wears those things, and he wears them all the time. And there's nothing on them. He's not listening to anything. It's just fuck off. I don't want to listen to you.
I was wearing my fancy Bluetooth earbuds the other day, which, by the way, are very fancy. They're called Sound. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Soundcore. That's what they're called. And I had them in. They're separate. There's no cabling. There's no battery in the middle. And I found that people just kept asking me questions like when I was out and about. What's the time? Stuff like that. It was very strange to me. But I feel like I should be wearing what Alan has, what Dave has. Apparently, you guys are the same person now.
I can't wear headphones like that. I look like a moron.
Hey, I'm not saying I don't, but I have. So
okay, if you go and look at our very first episode from years ago, like 15 years ago, where we did Fuggles of Warlock, Beam Me Up, Espresso Stout, I wore like headphones like this.
Ellen, I'm
first
sorry.
and only time. And then I moved to earbuds after that.
Ellen, I'm sorry. There's a certain. You can only wear so much headgear at once, and if you're wearing spectacles and full cover headphones at the same time,
with no hair.
With no hair. That's a lot of headgear.
It is.
Well, hey, I think that both of you guys could definitely get away with it if you put on a large blonde afro like Disco Stew and rollers. Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh my God, hair pieces are coming back. That is the new thing for 2021. Hair pieces are coming back. We're all going to wear hair pieces. Even you, Shane.
Hey,
you're going to throw in that too for a hair piece.
So
I got to tell you guys, some coworkers
with dreadlocks and shit.
Some coworkers made me a hairpiece one time. They actually, the strapping that's on like the boxes of office paper.
Yep.
Yeah. So they actually got a whole bunch of that strapping and they stapled it all together and they curled it and everything and made me a hairpiece with it. And then they snuck up behind me and tried to throw it on top of my head.
Alan, they put enough work into that even if it's a little bit.
We actually have a photograph.
There's a level of respect there that I think.
There's a live photograph of what Alan looked like at the time.
The level of respect that goes into that kind of
Just saying.
Awesome.
Todd says he looks like a Mad Max character at work. I mean, you're looking at what I look like at work right now, so it's a difficult state of affairs.
All right. Here's me with like a toupee on or whatever.
There's a story there. What is the story with that?
So that's on Halloween a few years ago.
Okay.
And somebody had
this
foam wig thing on, and they put it on me, and
yeah, it looks good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Fun. Fun.
The level of styrofoam that would have to go into that kind of streetwear is horrific. But I'm supportive of that look.
I fully support.
I miss having hair. I don't know about you, Locke. I miss having hair.
Oh, Jesus Christ! It's winter here in fucking Toronto. You're on the island. Yeah. Do I miss having hair? Yes.
What? If I could shave, I would do it. Totally.
If you could, you don't know there's a technology.
Here's a pain in the ass. No,
shave.
Are you still trying to grow? Are you still trying to grow mustache hair, Dave?
I would look like a dick.
Literally. Would you? I don't know that you would.
If you shaved your head,
I look like.
Yeah, I don't think I could carry it off. That's my problem.
I probably do look like a dick, which isn't entirely wrong, but Alan deserves better than that. Treat Alan better than that.
The secret is if you shave your head, you gotta have facial hair. You gotta have some. You gotta have some sort of hair. If it's not up here, it's gotta be
You
here.
don't shave your head because you actually don't have any hair at all.
Okay, I've just done some magic work here to see about a rough artist sketch of what Dave would look like had he shaved his head. So
Why
here we
am I
are. This is
afraid right
the
now?
sketch artist depiction of Dave.
I had a buddy of mine in law school who went bald early, and he was pretty muscular and at just about my height. And that was his cartoon character for Halloween, and it was awesome.
Oh, nice.
Actually, I think Dave would probably look like Principal Strickland from Back to the Future. Dave, can you? I'm just imagining you as bald on my screen here. Can you say "eat lead slackers"?
Eat lead, slackers.
Or maybe Lex
say,
Luthor.
Lex Luthor. I think I'm a little small to play a Lex Luthor.
Yeah, Gene Hackman was really tall. Just so that we know what we're. That's Alan running away
From Dave, yeah.
from Dave. Yeah. Oh, Julian's popped into the chat. Says hello, everyone. Cheers, lads. Happy Wires Day.
Julian?
I'm out of
Cheers.
beer. So
Yeah, me too. I finished it.
Came
That was a very good one.
A little bit gritty at the end there.
I didn't have that problem. Let me check the. No, I didn't have that. Oh no, wait, a little. Maybe a little. Maybe a little.
So did any of you drink that Cafe Del Bar Stato thing?
I don't know.
Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago we did Nickelback. Sorry, Nickel Brooks.
Oh yeah, Glory and Gold.
Oh yeah, the Glory and Gold.
Yeah. So Cafe Del Stato was an 11%er stout at 11%.
I'm bringing Dave up here. There we go.
And it had the wax seal, which is
never a good thing because it doesn't do a whole lot.
it's very decorative. Who's really gonna fucking save that for a later day?
Well,
It's
exactly.
really gonna age that shit. And if
Well,
you
it depends.
why would you carbonate it?
Yeah.
I mean, if it's a barley wine or something like that, yeah, you may save it. Like I had a 2017 barley wine for Persephone on New Year's Eve, and I bought a 2020 depth charge from Lighthouse to replace it. Just actually last night. So that's going to go in my cellar, and I'm going to keep it there for probably a couple of years before I drink it. I also have a 2018 Woolly Bugger from House Sound. I have a 2015 Thor's Hammer.
Whoa.
What I really want to know about is whether or not you have a cellar dweller.
I do not. I need to get a cellar dweller. This year's cellar dwellers have come out.
Yes,
they're available now.
today. I didn't get one though. I should have picked one up.
Yeah, you know, they're a little bit pricey, and a lot of places are making barley wines now. And frankly, the cellar dweller is the priciest of them all.
That's news to me because when I first encountered the cellar dweller, it was part of their sort of general range. Like they weren't charging more than maybe $1, maybe $2 more.
Yeah. A cellar dweller right now, I saw it was over $13 for a bottle. And you can get a Thor's Hammer for about $11 a bottle. And frankly, I mean, I love driftwood, but Thor's Hammer is a better choice between the two, in my opinion.
I might have to get one of each and try them because we had We had the cellar dweller. What was it? 3 years ago? Maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. A couple of years
Yeah.
ago.
Here's the thing: if we're talking about bottle-aged brews, the real trick is how good are you at guessing the result that's going to come out at the end of a long period of aging, and that's really about yeast. So you got to really understand your yeast.
Yeah.
Um, and so really the kicker of it is back in the old days, before craft brewing became a popular thing, the guys that would do that, there'd be instructions on the bottle like, don't shake the bottle. Leave the bottle alone.
Don't touch the bottle.
Don't refrigerate the bottle. Leave the bottle in a temperate but not too cold, not too hot climate. Because it's all about the yeast, right? Because the idea is you're yeasting what goes into the bottle, and that's going to have an active effect over time, and that's a long haul to something that's going to be totally sublime. How sublime is it? Well, I haven't gone through this procedure a couple of times. What I can tell you is pretty fucking good. But compared to what modern brewing can do with just the variety of hops and yeast and various techniques that we now have available to us to create fresh beer, is it as compelling as it used to be?
Well, I'll tell you what we did, Locke.
It's an old art of magic that I don't want to see die, but at the same time, I'm not really totally convinced that the relevance is 100% there.
Well, I'll tell you what we did, Locke. We took I want to say a 2017 Old Cellar Dweller. We aged it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then we bought a 2019 Old Cellar Dweller. And what we did is we took that 2-year-old Old Cellar Dweller, tasted it on one episode. And then a couple weeks later, we did the 2019. And the difference was actually quite profound.
Huh.
Yeah. So what we found with the one that was aged for 2 years was quite sweet, a very strong flavored of sweetness. But the 2019 one had a very hoppy kind of flavor. Now it's exactly the same recipe, but it's just the aging had imparted that kind of characteristic onto the beer. Well, what do you guys remember from that, Shane, Dave?
I just remember liking it.
Yeah, they were both good. I'm not knocking either one, but for myself personally, I would go with the aged one over the non-aged.
Yeah, I would too. I think
It's still one of my favorites.
It's a great beer. I don't think it's the best out there.
Well, I even had that Thor's Hammer. That's the thing. That's why I'm like, maybe I should get one of each this year and just put them by.
All I'm saying is the point of bottle aging something is if there's no active yeast left in the bottle, how much is aging really going to do? Now that said, I guess people age whiskeys, but they tend to age those in oak casks, since the idea is that they're imparting the oak or whatever. But if it's just a glass bottle and you're aging it for over time, if there isn't active yeast still in there, what's going on?
Well, what if you took like a small mouse and you put it in a bottle? Would that age it differently somehow?
It might reflect upon a classic legal case, but
yeah, there's a classic Canadian case about that whole
or something. But
actually, let me look it up because there was actually a really decent case here. What was it?
Versus Donahue.
let me find it here. I actually have a link to it. Seem to recall that. Yeah, here we go. This is the famous case that I'm referring to, of course. Where these two gentlemen found a mouse in a bottle, and
the Elsinore Brewery. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, Elsinore versus the Mackenzie brothers. So, very famous Canadian. It established some very significant statutes about how Canadians just get free beer all the time.
So, getting back to the barley wine thing for a second, just for a second, if anybody out there is interested in getting barley wines, now's the time to do it because that's when they're out in the stores. At the Liquor Plus at Royal Oak, you can get right now Thor's Hammer. You can get what's that one? Cellar Dweller. There was a couple others there as well. You can get the Depth Charge from Lighthouse. Needs more dog.
Yeah, I think actually it's not a terrible idea. So maybe this weekend I will go out and grab a few because.
And the nice thing about the Thor's Hammer is that it's already aged. The one that's on the shelf right now is a 2015.
Oh.
Then we should drink it.
I think we should
at the same time.
If you can get it,
I will go and see if I can find it. Yeah, no, I was at the store today and I did notice a whole bunch of them. Although I didn't notice the Cellar Dweller. The Cellar Dweller was everywhere last week, but I did not see it this week.
So here's a problem with the beer market right now, in my view.
Okay.
You've got people across Canada. You've got a diversity of models of beer selling. In Ontario, it's so fucking screwed up. You got 2 statutory monopolies, both of which are ridiculous. But let's just suppose for a second that you were being smart about selling aged beers. How smart would it be to buy a bunch of beers that were intended to be aged and then age them before putting them on the market? That means having a head in the clouds further than next week. Do liquor stores generally do that? Maybe not. That's not really the culture of liquor stores. Generally speaking, not that I've encountered them. They're looking for fast profits now. What I'm saying is, if there's some value in aged beer products, maybe a company that buys up stuff and stores it and does the difficult work of don't drink the beer right now, wait until it's good and ready, and then mark it up proportionally, well, let's say profitably. Right?
Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Good.
I'm behind this plan.
Yeah, totally.
Anyway,
the real problem with aged beers is that most people buy them and then just drink them fucking right away.
Well, and that's true. And that's true. That does happen, and that shouldn't happen.
We need a law.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Oh, of course.
No, I'm not saying a law. I'm saying a service whereby
We need a brute squad.
for actually waiting goes
Dave
up
is the Brute Squad.
depending on how you wait. And the price you pay will be either it's sitting there in your fridge or your coffee shelf or whatever, wherever you put it. And you're waiting and it's taking up space. And you're waiting and you're waiting, you're looking at it, and then you reach that difficult moment where your boss says something ridiculous. And so now you're running around acting like an asshole and you're like, I am going to drink every alcohol in the household. Oh, look, there's Scope. Awesome. You know what I'm saying? Like Scope shouldn't be alcohol of last resort. If this is alcohol of last resort, you drink that. But what I'm saying is, if there's somebody else guarding it for you, then that doesn't happen, does it? Then you can drink that pristine thing that should have waited a few years because it was designed to do so. Because that was the intent all along. That was its destiny. Now you are complicit with its destiny. How good is that? What is that worth? Is that worth a couple extra dollars? Probably, right? And if you're a company that's doing that in bulk, well, you see what I'm saying?
I fully support what you're saying. Yeah, I fully support it. There's
So-
no question here.
Just to move on here before we sign off and everything, I want to mention
We're all
just
getting naked.
because I'm so jazzed about it. So CES is happening right now, even though it's not the physical CES that happens every year. It's a digital one this year.
Yeah.
And there's a company that I follow that always has like an amazing display at CES every year. They're called Arcade One Up, and what they make is replicas of arcade units. And this year's offerings are pretty fantastic, and I just wanted to sort of mention it because I'm so jazzed about it. Especially there's this one, they've got these legacy getting already am what no, I'm not getting these. They're too expensive for me anyway. But they have these legacy machines that are made to look like the original arcade cabinets. And one of them, Shane, I don't know if you can find them and bring them up here, but one of them is based on the Tempest arcade machine, and it looks freaking awesome. So that's the X-Men, the Killer Instinct, and the Dragon Slayer. So it's that one right there. That thing is beautiful. And there's a Street Fighter one. They have like 12 original arcade games on each of them, and they look awesome. So yeah, Honk table.
Yeah.
There's actually a really great video out there of it's being titled "The First Rage Quit of Video Game Playing," and it's two guys. I gather, if this is a legit thing that I've seen, two people back playing Pong on the original machine that it was created on, and one guy just kind of going, "I'm done." He throws the controller down and walks away. I somehow doubt it's legit. But by the way, there's a big. Apparently, our audience is getting naked already, or they're brewing beer. So, because so here we go. This is just some of our audience members are very.
I have to say, video games, Pong, all that kind of thing, totally makes me want to get naked most of the time. Doesn't it you?
Man, I love classic video games, and if I could have an arcade in my house, I would do it.
If you had to get naked on the internet, would you do it if somebody was going to walk in with 10 of these machines?
Maybe I might.
I've probably done that.
I might.
Oh yeah. On that note, getting naked for video games. Sounds like Twitch. I don't even know how to recover from that entirely. So we're here every Wednesday drinking beer and talking about it, and then also talking about whatever comes into our minds. But we thank everyone for coming every week and putting up with our boring old butts. We will see you next week. And also, Alan, of course, is opening an OnlyFans this week, so that you can support him and his naked aspirations. Alan, get us out of here.